Don't want this to go everywhere. If you tell yourself it tastes like Diet Coke.
It definitely doesn't. It tastes like the devil's water. It's filthy.
All right, one of us is...
Might mention the devil's water, I think. I'm just trying to put a little bit more...
One of us not touching iPhone, one of us touching
I was just trying to make sure my
iPhone.
notes are adequate. Yeah.
As in, just still planning the pod?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're good, though.
You good? I feel like I need to burp now that I've had that.
That's what the devil's water will do to you. That's just what happens.
Just waiting for it to come. It'll come hopefully in the... Let's roll the
Right
start
in the
now and
intro.
hopefully it'll happen.
We don't have our clock on, but that probably doesn't really matter.
I'll do
Nah,
that
it doesn't
now.
matter. Doesn't matter.
You sure?
Okay, I'll start one on my phone if you like.
I'll just do it.
Okay. We don't have our clock on.
Again, notice who got up to do that? Who noticed it and who did something about
I
it?
did offer to do it from my seat, but I was rejected. Awesome. I think I'm good to go now.
You good? Oh, you're good now. Okay.
I don't know about you, but I'm fine.
Okay. Howdy Hey.
Oh, it's back.
It's back.
Amazing.
We're back. It's been a couple of weeks, but we're back. Skip the Beat, a podcast loosely based on music. My name's Matt. I'm joined each and every week with the lovely, by the lovely, with the lovely, alongside the lovely, Katie Wallace. How are you, Katie?
Either way, I'm lovely, so that is fine. I'm doing well. It's good to be here. Are we fortnightly again? What's
I think
happened?
this has just snuck through to 3 weeks.
Oh, was it? Gosh, I've
think
lost
so.
a week there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we haven't done too much better.
No.
But that's all right.
We're getting it done, though.
Yeah.
Lots to cover.
Yeah, it's good to be here. It gives us time to gather some thoughts and silliness.
And it sounds like there's been a fair bit happening.
Yeah, there has. Do you want me to tell you one or two things first? Or
Let's get
just-
straight into it.
Just go for it.
Go straight in.
I'm freshly back from a weekend in Sydney. Well, when I say weekend, I mean a lightning quick 24 and a sniff hours. Down for my dad's birthday, flew down with my 2 sisters and had some nice family time down there. And yesterday we did a mystery picnic around Bondi Junction and Centennial Park and that area. So
Who was it the mystery for? You? Did you have
Well-
any? Who was the one that knew about the picnic?
no one knew. So what they are, I had done one previously in Brisbane with Emma in around New Farm Park. And what it is you pay for it through a company.
Okay.
And the night before they send you a clue and it's like a little cryptic-y sort of clue, and you have to decipher the clue, and that is the location of your first stop. And you basically go around to a bunch of different cafes and delis picking up various pieces to put in your picnic basket, and then at the end of it you go to the park and sit down and have a picnic.
So all the cafes and little bits and pieces where you get, they're all in on it.
They're
part of
all
it.
in on it. Yep. So
Right.
the person that you've paid has organised all of that.
So it's
and
not choose your own adventure and you've got to do this and this.
No,
it's
they've said
all...
Yeah, they've said Gary Wallace is going to come, and there's 5 people in his group, so you have to have enough food for them for 5
Okay,
for
yep.
whatever it is. So all
Okay.
these delicious snacks that we gathered, and then sat in the park and ate for a few hours. So it was a wonderful way to spend a Sunday in Sydney before flying home.
No stresses in working out where to get things, all straightforward?
The only stresses we had were that Judy, who is my stepmum, was our driver, and just you would know from recent Alta Falls experiences that parking is anywhere is just an
easy.
absolute nightmare.
Easy as. Just park anywhere.
So that was the only stressful thing, was trying to find, well, where can we pop this car for a minute while we run into all these different places and try and pick up our snacks. But yeah.
Did I miss your dad's birthday? Like, has it happened yet?
No, the 15th.
15th, okay.
Yeah, so this week. So we were a couple of days early.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can do what he does to wish me a happy birthday and say HBG.
HBG. You
Yeah.
can.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
15th.
He'll
That'll be
he'll
out.
respect that.
Podcast will probably be out around then.
Pod will be out. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, definitely out.
Yeah.
No, the birthday will have happened
Yes.
by the time this
Sorry.
comes out.
Yeah, pod won't be
So
out.
listening back, happy birthday,
This
Jeeves.
will be redundant by then.
Great chat. Okay, so quick trip down to Sydney.
Quick trip to
with
Sydney.
the sisters. Jeeves' birthday, mystery picnic.
Yeah.
Back up.
And back home last night. And so realizing that looking at my calendar for the rest of the year, a couple of weeks ago I looked and I've only got 2 weekends in Brisbane for the entire rest of this year. So that might also partially explain why the pod's maybe not as regular as it could
Just
be.
pushing
It's
out a
probably
week.
more
Okay,
my schedule than yours. Although a couple of those weekends will be with you later in the year.
A whole 2 of them.
A whole 2, yeah, that's what a couple means. That's a good other definition.
It's
2.
just mathematics.
It is just basic math. What does JHSS mean?
Well, that's my local primary school just down here.
It is.
It's where I went to school. And on Saturday they had their 50-year anniversary.
Oh, wow.
So they opened as a school, again, basic math, 1974, which means 2024, 50 years later,
Yeah.
they're celebrating the anniversary. So there was a big shadoo that happened.
Shebang?
Shebang that happened down there. It was really, really good. Up until when Brisbane decided to get a massive storm cell come through at about 5:45 p.m. and it kind of ruined the nighttime activity. I think
Was this on Saturday?
this on Saturday, yeah. So
yeah.
went down, watched like all the different grades had their own little performance thing on the
Yeah,
stage. A few little things I'll say about that. I'll come back to it. But yeah, it was good. Just
You're going to judge some small children for
no,
their
no,
musical
not at all.
abilities?
I'll go to it right now.
Okay.
They would have spent, like with all the different sponsors and everything, I'm not sure exactly how it worked between the P&C and then obviously like the alcohol tent for people that was sponsored by a local
Yeah.
like real estate agent. So I don't know how it worked for the stage, but a proper stage, like not just a little like when I say a proper stage, like a stage company would have come in
Yeah.
all undercover, quite a really high roof, probably something you'd see at a small festival.
Yeah,
Like,
they've brought in the team from down the
I'm
green.
going to say it
and-
one more time, a proper stage.
Proper stage.
Now, to go with that proper stage, the sound that they had was 2 speakers about the same size as what I've got in my cupboard there.
Yeah,
And
so
just
they've-
2 little subs.
They've pulled the speakers out of a Datsun
And just, they've put a sound system in for maybe 200 people instead of probably 3,000 or 4,000 people that were on the Oval that day. So I was sitting 25 metres back from the stage, maybe 30 metres, still not a long way back.
Yeah.
For when my daughter did her little thing with all the preps, it was 60 kids on the stage singing.
Yep.
Couldn't hear them.
Oh,
Couldn't hear them at all. I could
no.
hear little tiny bits and pieces. And I'm like, why have you got these 2 microphones? Like,
Oh,
set up pointing to them.
no.
It's doing absolutely nothing. I'm like, you've gone with, if you had the sound system to that one was required or to match to the professionalism of the stage, it would have been amazing. But that was the big letdown for me because none of the entertainment was able to be heard properly at all. Like things like your concert band and things like that, you could hear them, but that's, I guess, just basically the live sound
Yes.
coming off the stage. What I did feel bad for, and I felt bad because you and I have been in this position where we've gone and set up for gigs and then it's just poured down rain and you haven't been able to play a sound. There was a rock band scheduled for the night activities. I'm assuming some type of covers band.
Yeah.
But I saw them wheeling in all their equipment, like their amps and things like that. Nothing. Not a single note played. But I was interested, being like, wonder what they're going to sound like coming through a PA system for a perfect for a party of 200 people, but not for an oval full of a couple of thousand people. We'll never know.
We've definitely played a few gigs on primary school ovals in our time.
We have.
We have done a couple, and sound is always the issue,
It
isn't
always
it?
comes down to sound. I'm
It's
like,
always
that's-
the issue.
And maybe that's because we're musicians. that we've got that little bit of an extra. But a lot of people were making comments being like, I can't hear them singing.
Yeah,
And
there's
I'm
a
like,
difference between bad sound and no sound.
Yeah, there's just
No sound isn't great.
Come on, guys, you've gone to all this amazing effort with the stage. Like, it's above and beyond what needs to be there, really.
Yeah.
A massive stage that you can fit like an entire school on almost on the oval there. But yeah, just so anyway, not going to take away from the rest of the day. It was really good. I caught up with a bunch of old teachers that had like a past students and teachers, like little cafe area with some food and nibblies in, and saw my grade 4 teacher, who I will say was, out of all my primary school years, remembering back that far, she was the best teacher by a country mile. As soon as she saw me, she was like, oh, Matthew Green, Matthew. And it's been, 1996, I was in grade 4, not giving away my age. So she's lovely. She's still teaching. She's down in Melbourne. And she said, let me know the date for your band gig. She goes, I love live music.
So she came up from Melbourne just for that event?
For that event, yeah. Wow. So had a good catch up with her. I also ran into my year 2 teacher. Kind of was that I made eye contact, kind of being like, I'm pretty sure you're my year. And she looked at me and I said, this is going back quite a while, but I'm fairly sure you're my year 2 teacher. And she goes, oh God, how old am I? I look to you now. Am I 108? And I said, no, but I gave her my name. I said, I'm Matt Green. She's like, oh, yes, Matthew Green. She was like, yeah, your mum was a Jen or Janelle. I was like, yeah. She's like, you had twin brothers and sisters. I'm like, how do you remember? Like the thousands of kids you've taught, how do you remember? So yeah, it was good catching up with a couple of other old students and stuff that I haven't seen for years, a few other teachers and deputy principals and stuff that came back for it. So yeah, it was a really nice afternoon. Just got washed out at the end.
My grade 4 teacher was my favourite teacher too.
Yeah.
That's a little...
Skippy Ros Kylie, Ms. Kylie. If you're a Skippy, see you at the Melbourne show. Thanks for saying you'll come along to that.
Yeah, hit it up. I'm looking forward to meeting you too.
So yeah, that's what JHSS was.
Excellent. The other thing I did since we last recorded was last weekend on the King's Birthday long weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I went on a 3-day, 2-night hiking expedition.
Big hike.
Yes, I loaded up.
Waiting to hear this.
Loaded up the pack because in about 7 weeks I'm heading to Tasmania to hike for 7 days, 6 nights. So we're just doing a couple of little run-throughs, and yeah, like it fair killed me a few times. It was hard. But we got it done. But the highlight was on the second night, I could hear something scurrying around my tent quite a bit at night, and I'm like, it's a possum or something. It was just annoying because I could hear it scurrying around.
You could tell it's inside the tent, or just you thought it was outside the tent?
And I could tell it was outside the tent. Like I could hear it,
Mm-hmm.
And so I kept sort of hitting the side of my tent to be like, go away, and it would disappear and then it would come back. And then after about 20 minutes of this back and forth, I realised that I had some lollies in the inside pocket of my tent, and I was thinking, I bet it can smell those lollies and it's trying to get to the food. So I reached into the pocket and put them up into another pocket just to get them out of the way. And then it kept coming back, and it just kept coming back and kept coming back, and I was smacking the tent just trying to make noise, and every time I made noise it would sort of disappear, and it was waking me up, and then I was asleep and I was awake and asleep and awake. And
great for someone who can naturally sleep really well all the time.
The hiking and sleeping, I don't even want to get into what a disaster that is for me, but anyway. And then in the morning, I realised when I fully, because I was doing all of this just sort of half asleep with my sleep mask half on, one eye on, one off. I realised in the morning that in that pocket I actually had a Ziploc bag of lollies and a Ziploc bag of nuts. And when I'd reached in, I'd only pulled the nuts out. I didn't realise I still had something in there. So the lollies were still in there. And what we later discovered to be a bush rat, so sort of like a...
Lovely.
Not a normal rat, but sort of like a marsupial-y type bush rat, had eaten 3 holes in the side of my tent and managed to pull out half of the Ziploc bag and got to those lollies. So my brand new $700 hiking tent now has 3 holes in it. And the reason we knew that it was a bush rat is that the next morning, the people that were, other people that were camping there near us told us they had an absolute horror story with these things. So their son actually, one chewed its way right into his tent, was running around inside his tent.
Nope.
And he exactly.
Nope.
And then mum the next morning put her cereal in her bowl and milk, and it just started leaking out. And she realised it had chewed holes through her bowl. It had chewed through their water bottles, through their bladders, their water bladders. And the son eventually managed to get it out of his tent, and he plugged up the hole with like a towel to stop it from coming back in. But sometime during the night, the bush rats come back, pushed the towel through, got in, done a poo in his tent, and then nicked off. Just left a little gift for the morning. So I'm lucky none of that happened
Who says
to me.
animals aren't intelligent?
I know, right? So yeah, just a horrific. I was
mate.
like, and so yes, I've got to figure out how to patch just little hole. They're not mine's. I
But
came away
it's all about
good.
weight, right? So it's just that little bit
Just a
lighter
little bit
now.
lighter, yeah. Even though all sorts of vermin will be able to get into my tent now.
God.
So, I mean, it's one of those things there was lots of things that happened where we questioned why
Why are we doing this?
are we doing this? It's really, everything's uncomfortable. Doesn't matter how much money you've spent. Everything's just a little bit uncomfortable. And yeah.
Overall, though, give it a rating out of 10 for satisfactory / happiness / good for the mental.
Yeah, like 8 or 9 for that side of it.
Okay, yeah.
But physically, 2 out of 10, it really hurt. So
Okay.
it made me realise I've got a lot of work to do.
What was the hardest part?
My feet just were so sore.
Okay.
Yeah. So my pack weight is fine. That feels really comfy. But yeah, I've got the plantar fasciitis in my foot, which is still not super happy. So yeah.
And is it the same trio going to Tassie?
Yes, it was with my cousin Tracy and Nicole.
Bucky and Nicole?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, it was the three of us doing that together. Nicole probably won't be coming to Tasmania now, and I'm not sure if it's as a direct result of that trip, but...
Did she have any rat issues?
No
bush rat.
So
just
they
you.
shared a tent together. I was the only one that had bush rat, which is hilarious because Nicole had every food you could imagine just scattered all throughout their tent. So somehow I just got my tiny bag of lollies attacked. But yeah, we definitely had some moments, the three of us being like, well, this is just some kind of bullshit, this whole thing we're trying to do. So let's go to Tassie and do it for twice as long.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. See how we go.
What's the weather
how
going to
we
be
go.
like in Tassie? I mean, it's probably
It could be anything.
coolish.
Yeah, it could be anything. We're just hoping it's alpine, so it could still be really cold, but it could also be beautiful. So yeah, so that's it. We've got to prepare for any eventuality. So anyway, that's been my week. So that's a big chat for how you're going. But
okay.
yeah, keep your eye on Hike Chat with Katie because there'll
Hike Chat.
probably be a few more stories before the year's out. Yeah.
I had one other little thing on mine, what's been happening as well. Last time we did a podcast recording, so 6 months ago, and we were editing. You saw me fiddling around with one of those little Rubik's cubes.
Yes.
And so it's been a dumb little, kind of like life bucket list, the things you've got on your life thing that you'd want to be able to do some point in your life. It's been on there for, obviously, forever since I started doing it, but was be able to learn how to solve one.
Yeah.
And I've been slowly starting to do it. I can now do it.
He's done it.
I'm not a world record holder. I can't just
Yes.
do it. Well, these fingers aren't turning a cube that quickly. But look, I think my best time is a minute 40, minute 45, which is obviously in the world of Rubik's Cube professionals, very, very slow.
Yeah.
But for me, quite quick.
Get the job done.
I now understand how it works. I can
Yeah.
just look at any Rubik's Cube and go, oh, I'll solve that.
Yeah.
It's great.
What a great
I've done it.
Great little skill. And so does that, now that you've done it, are you still playing with your cube?
Yes.
So you'll still every day you might
Yeah, because
solve
obviously
one
every
and-
time you mix it up, it's like a different...
Yeah.
all the algorithms and patterns and things are the same you have to follow. But
Yeah.
sometimes you do it and you're like, oh, that's a really easy solve, or oh, far out, this is going to take a
Yeah,
take a bit.
Yeah.
My son is showing love for it as well, so it's been good trying to start to get him to
He'll be
do
great
it.
at
Oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my little thing. I've learnt how to solve a Rubik's Cube.
Amazing. Father-son Rubik's Cube time. I love it. Very cool.
Now, because you've been down and back to Sydney and on Hike Chat and things like that, first time in a while you haven't been to a gig.
It is. It's been a few weeks and wild. Yeah, I guess I had 19 things to share last time, so a little bit of a break. I think I've got a few things in the works coming up. But yeah, what about you?
Not much. Haven't been to any gigs. A little bit happening in the Elder Falls world. Obviously, the single that came out, I think the week of that we did the last podcast, or it's been out almost 2 weeks.
Yep.
It's going really well, getting lots of great community radio play around the country, which is great. Really good response from a bunch of our supporters and everything online. There's a few little things we're waiting with our PR company to hear back from, but that can take 2, 3, 4 weeks sometimes. But overall, going really well. But big news is actually, before we get to that, I was going to say ticket sales for Melbourne Adelaide. Going really well.
Excellent.
So we've hit triple figures now for Adelaide, which is great.
Yeah.
So still a bit to push there. I'd love to sell another 70 or 80 tickets in the next 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But Melbourne, great. We're just under 160 now, so it's had a real big upsurge. We got well over, I think last time we spoke we were maybe 140 something. So now sold another
it's still
20
climbing up.
Yeah, about 10 sales a week, which is, I know that doesn't sound like much, but like we're a new band, and
we're not comparing ourselves to Taylor Swift here.
Yeah. But first time back in Melbourne, like we've only been there once. Like first time there was 25 tickets, so to be at almost 160, we're absolutely stoked.
Yeah.
But big news in music world was about 8 or 9 episodes ago.
Yeah.
In our first season.
Yeah.
We talked about going to one of the final gigs at an iconic Brisbane venue called the Zoo. It was, we saw Katie Noonan and Tyrone Noonan, who were in a band 20 years ago called George. They played one of the last shows there. They did their full album Polyserena in, that was a test, you passed, in full. It was great, and there was kind of a bit of a sadness being like, look, the Zoo's kind of closing down. We don't know what the future is. And look, I'm glad I was right when I said there'll be someone that saves it. I think I said that more so coming from the place of I hope someone saves it, because it is such a great venue. But it's been saved.
It has.
There has been now Crowbar.
Yeah.
The Crowbar have come out and they have resurrected the Zoo.
Yeah.
And the only thing I couldn't find is when it's actually going to be up and running again.
No, I couldn't see that either. Yeah.
But it's going to be back. The venue is saved. So the Zoo will continue to live on, which is an amazing piece of news for Brisbane. And particularly from a band like myself as a musician in a band that is probably sort of in the next probably 1 to 2 years, a goal for us would be to sell, 354, maybe 450 tickets would be a dream. But in that 350 to 400 people is a goal for us in the next probably 18 months to 2 years. And there's not many venues in Brisbane that have that 400 to 500 capacity. It sort of goes from venues in that 200 capacity up to 800.
Yeah.
There's nothing in that. In that middle ground there. And the Zoo is perfect for that. It has a maximum capacity of 500, but it's that type of venue where if you've got 350 to 400 people in there, it looks really full, really good vibe. So I'm really glad that personally that has come back as a contender now, hopefully for us to have a gig there in the next 18 months or so.
I feel like I read somewhere, I'm interested to see what sort of bands will be playing there, because I feel like I read somewhere in one of the presses that I was reading that they're hoping to take it back to some of its roots of being quite
grungy.
Yeah, heavy rock and metal, and so I'm very interested in whether there will be anything that I will see there for the
or whether they'll
the
even
near
say yes
future.
to us for a gig.
Yeah, I'm just because it's had, like, certainly in my lifetime of going there, it's had really a range of very diverse genres. Like you can see anything and everything you could see there. So I'm interested to see how closely they stick to that, or whether it will broaden out again. Because there's plenty of bands getting around that's the perfect size venue for them.
It's great for a small band that has started to get momentum. Not even just a small band. There's been heaps of big, well-known, great, like the Living End. They could sell more than 500 tickets to a Brisbane show, but they chose so many times to play there just over multiple nights, because it is a great venue. I wonder if they'll do things like renovate, do things like that. Like, are they going to give it an overhaul?
Yeah, get rid of the sticky floorboards, maybe.
We'll find out.
We will.
Surely they'll give them a good mop.
Solid
Sand
mop.
them back, give them a polish.
It was great news though this week, because there was a little bit of a tinge of sadness for me, particularly at the
So
thought
thank you,
of
Crowbar.
that venue. Yeah.
Well done to you for keeping live music in Brisbane alive.
Yeah, absolutely. Stoked.
Now,
Stoked.
there's something on the board you want me to write down. I have no idea what this is. You said it's something small,
Yeah.
but I've written down meme chat.
Yeah, so I saw this thing pop up this week that I just thought was interesting, and it's a bit of a I don't know. Anyway, I'll tell you what it was. I saw a good chat, Katie. Good chat.
Great contact.
Smooth communication. Well done.
So what have you been memeing to tell me?
Oh, I saw on someone else playing on Instagram just posted something that said the number one song on your 14th birthday is the song that defines your life.
Okay.
And so as I read that, I thought, well, I need to check what mine was straight up. And then I thought, well, I need to check what yours was straight up.
Okay.
So I did. So I've done yours for you too. So I had do you think you would agree with that? If you think back to what was happening around when you're around 14, the music you're
about
listening to
2000 for me.
does it define your life?
I'm interested. Well, I'm interested to see what it is. Grade
Yeah,
8.
because I don't think either of these songs define our lives.
Can we?
So-
So you can't guess what mine is. Can I have a guess on what yours is?
Yeah, I know for a fact that you won't know mine very well because this particular band came up in a segment we did quite a while ago, and you didn't really know any of their music.
Oh, so okay. So we've got to go back to when you were 14. So
Yeah, 1994 we are
I
for
was about to
me.
say Buddy Holly.
It was one of the later releases from the Beatles in the back catalogue.
was George Harrison's solo career.
Yeah, that's right.
1 sec.
A few moments later.
All right, so where were we? So I had a little glitch in our videoing.
Tech glitch.
So mine too. So 2000. I have absolutely no idea. The number one hit that was in October 2000.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have known. I mean,
No idea. Is it a like an all girl group or an all boy group? Is that the
No, it's a solo artist.
solo artist?
Yeah, for you.
Australian?
No, American. Big artist in the 90s, though.
Okay, like Alanis Morissette or something.
No, we're a bit later than Alanis.
God,
I think Alanis is Canadian too, but that's
true.
okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, North American.
Think of pop princesses,
Britney
American. Very close. You'll get it with your next guess.
Will I?
Who else would you say that sat next to Britney Spears in that exact
gosh.
same
Now the pressure's on. I can't
pipes. Think great pipes. Young woman, same age as Britney.
Oh God.
No, he doesn't have it. That's okay.
Okay.
Yours is it's Christina Aguilera.
Ah.
Yeah.
So
And
what song was that?
so-
Genie in a Bottle or something? Or?
Yeah, it was from that album though. It was Come On Over.
Okay.
Come on over.
Come on over, baby.
We were singing in 9 different keys there. That was tasty. And mine was I'll Make Love to You by Boys to Men, which is certainly not a song that has defined my life.
All right. Okay.
So, yeah, so I thought when I read it, I was like, oh, amazing. This could be 2 great songs. And they are 2 huge singles, like massive singles, both of those songs. But yeah, I couldn't say that it defined my life.
I'll make love to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got trapped in R&B land for mine.
Meme Chat. Come on over by Christine Aguilera.
That song, that album, because the album was called Come On Over as well, was huge for
Oh,
me.
yeah.
That song almost more defines my life than yours. I loved that album so much when it
So
came out.
what you're saying is you should have been born.
What I'm saying
few
is
years
maybe
later.
I'm not 93 after all. Maybe not.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well
meme
done.
chat. Meme chat.
Meme Chat.
Yeah.
Which, after all good meme chats, get on to, I don't know where the stick is.
I don't know.
We're stickless.
Where'd you stick at?
To find something, I'll use this bottle here.
Use the devil's water.
Now, was it this one?
I don't know.
Little fizz everywhere now. Music pun of the week.
Hit me.
I had to write this down because it's a bit of a, it's not a, I just thought, well, the short and questionably sweet ones aren't working. So let's go for a slightly longer one. So we'll start. So a young child returned from his first ever music lesson on the tuba. How'd it go? Asked his father. Great, said the child. I learned how to play a C. The next week, the child took another lesson and the father asked about the lesson. Again, terrific, said the child. This week, I learned to play a G. The following week, the child didn't come home. The father got really worried. Eventually, at 2 a.m., the child returned. Where the hell have you been? Screamed the father. Out gigging, answered the son.
Okay. Because, like, you only need to know how to play 3 notes?
Like
is that the...
2 notes? Yeah, like...
Is that the...
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, only 2 notes.
Yeah, just...
Sorry,
he's learnt basically the... I think it's great when you have to really explain.
It's always funnier. Yeah, it's always funnier when you have to explain it. Yeah.
Okay, that went down really well.
Yeah, I mean, you've said all of that. So
When I read it, I did a little bit more.
I think I was forgetting what the tuba did. I thought, because when he went back for the third lesson, I thought, oh, well, there's a third note and you need 3 notes to play. But yeah, the tuba just does that weird thing.
But he didn't have a
doesn't
third
it?
lesson. The third week he was out gigging.
Oh, I thought he just never came home from his lesson. I've really misunderstood.
Take it.
I don't think we can save this segment.
Quick. Oh, shit. Okay.
I'd like to go on record as saying that's my least favourite thing you've ever said on this podcast.
Really?
I think so.
Is that just because you didn't
think
understand it, or just
Yeah.
actually...
Yeah, it's my personal worst. Whether or not it's because I'm dumb or not, it's just my least favourite.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
We're going to need some feedback on
We're going
that
to need
one,
some feedback.
Skippies.
I can't wait for that
Yeah.
one. Okay, who'll give feedback? Anna will probably send through some feedback. Muir, maybe. Although Muir will probably be more in line with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't know.
So we don't want the feedback
no,
if it's
bring
in
it
line
on. Bring
with
it
me.
on. Bring it on.
Yeah. Yeah, that was tough for me to swallow,
Okay.
that one there. Yeah.
Well, we're glad we're handing it
sure.
over to you now because you've got something.
I've
Do you
got
want
it
to hit
from
that
the
little,
pouch.
that
Yeah.
little top? Yeah, that one.
From the pouch.
Perfect. Yes, I'm bringing something from the pouch today. It's another one for me, which often happens when I bring something from the pouch, is I'll bring something without actually remembering all of the context, and I'm going to rely on you.
On me to fill you in. Okay.
to do the actual remembering from the pouch.
Perfect.
I've got the bag. I just had this memory the other day, and I wrote it down, and I can't remember if it's something that we just did once. I feel like we did it multiple times.
When you had a tuba lesson. Because I said you only need 2, but you pulled out after the first lesson.
So I never gigged.
Yeah, you just never gigged.
I never gigged on my tuba. Yeah, that was poor form from me. I'm going to be relying on you. I'm taking this memory from the pouch. It's going back to the early days of us being in bands together. So it's from our first band that we were in together called Something Sideways. And we used to rehearse at Matt's parents' house because Matt was still living at home then. We used to rehearse in their lounge room, and I'm pretty sure actually that wasn't even our first band. Our first band didn't have a name.
No.
Anyway, another story. My memory of this happened at your mum and dad's house.
It did have a name, didn't it? Was it like laissez-faire or something?
I think we wanted that, but someone else was called that already.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
Yeah, that's what we sort of called ourselves while we were recording.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, from the pouch is me remembering that time, whether it happened once or many times, that time that we were a little bit hungry and just decided that we would randomly make an entire apple tea cake and sit down and not just have one piece, but eat the entire cake. And I feel like we started to do it regularly. I feel like we did it more than once. Am I right or am I wrong?
I don't really have a memory of doing it more than once.
Okay.
I do remember doing it, and I think you need to also say that it wasn't. We need to remember that it wasn't a full band rehearsal either.
It was just
It
us.
was you and I songwriting.
It was. Yeah.
So there was only 2 people eating
Yeah.
the entire tea cake.
And that story really, really explains Matt and my entire relationship with food.
We had the whole cake. I remember eating the
did.
entire cake.
Yeah.
Just one afternoon.
And we knew going into it that that's what we were going to do.
Yeah.
It didn't even happen accidentally. It was premeditated decision.
I feel like a cinnamon tea cake.
Yeah.
Or half of it.
Yeah. And we both were like, yeah, easy. Easy. It was between meals. It wasn't even for a meal.
We just had a Chinese buffet for lunch.
Yes. Probably.
And
Probably.
this just got home.
Yeah.
Did a solid half an hour of writing.
We're out. We need
We're
a
done.
tea cake.
Need to spend an hour baking this thing. Eat the whole thing.
And there will be no evidence that it happened because we're going to eat the entire cake. So, yeah.
And of course, being at home, it would have been just my mum would have had all the ingredients ready to go, and it just would have pulled it out of nowhere. I know we made it.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the ingredients just would have been there.
We certainly didn't buy the ingredients. No,
No,
my
this would have been
memory
all
is
there.
that we just made the cake, so everything must have been there. We just made the cake.
Good times. That
And
is
we
a
ate the
great,
ca- we ate
great
the
from
cake.
the pouch.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, that popped up for me this week, and I just couldn't.
That's a great memory.
Yeah.
Because I distinctly remember just the fact we just textbook ate the entire cake.
Yeah, sat out the back, sitting at your outdoor setting
Yeah,
next to the pool,
Just-
just slicing off slices until it was
who are
all
we kidding?
gone.
Just halve it.
Just with our hands, just ripping into it. Yeah.
Oh, well done.
So there you go. That's from the pouch.
Well done.
From the pouch.
Well, I hope I can redeem myself from that joke, considering it's the worst thing I've ever said on the podcast. And that was after sharing the story of me publicly urinating in front of someone.
True. I might need to reassess that statement.
But I thought we haven't done it for a while. I've put together a little bit of Would You Rather.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, Garrett, yeah. So anyway, a few in here that are just, some are stupid. Obviously, some are just hypothetical. Some I think are really good. So we'll just get into it, I guess. So, would you... Actually, well, I'll do a different order. We'll just start and do some easy ones. Would you
God,
rather...
are they hard ones?
Would you rather, just moving forward for the rest of your life, tequila or Drambuie?
Oh God. We're going to have to pull a Drambuie memory from the pouch at some point.
Absolutely.
Again, just equally bad memories from both of those options in my world. I think I'd say tequila
Okay, I'd be Drambuie.
because I could get a really nice expensive tequila.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just can't do tequila. It's just, no.
Yeah.
I did were you there when we did them in Sydney? We had the bar tab.
No, I was getting the van.
Oh, you were getting the van.
Yeah,
We were unpacking.
I was sober Katie getting the van.
Other Katie, drunk Katie,
Yeah.
said, I've organised some tequila. I was like, no. She's like, yes. I was like,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, when
did
I
it.
left the venue to get the band, everyone was doing okay, and by the time I got back with the van, there's
Because
just
they were
things
like,
had
do you
gone.
need to finish your drink
pear-shaped.
cards? I downed 2 glasses of wine and a tequila shot in that half an hour.
Yeah, things had gone a little bit pear-shaped in the time I was away.
All right, we'll keep going.
Yeah.
Would you rather live in a world with no crime or violence or live in a world where there's no privacy?
Oh, where do you
Wow,
get these
that is
from?
a deep one.
Where do you get these from?
And not just selfishly any privacy for yourself, just no privacy for anyone, obviously. in the
Yeah,
entire
like
world.
1984 type vibes, George Orwell type vibes. I think I would rather. Oh my God, why can't I say words anymore? I've forgotten how to speak. So if I say no crime and violence,
then
that means
there's just, if you live in a world with no crime and violence, then there's just no privacy anywhere in the world.
yeah.
I don't know what that means. I don't know whether that's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm going to say no crime and violence because then we'll find a peaceful way together to reinstate our privacy.
That's what my answer would have been. I'm like, if there's
Yeah.
no crime and violence, then there's if there was no privacy right now, there'd be heaps of violence and crimes that
Yes.
could potentially happen.
Yeah.
So if there's a world without that, then
Well, there might be a
privacy would be
peaceful
fine.
way through
Yeah.
that to figure
Okay.
it out.
all right. Would you rather to be unable to use search engines like Google ever again, or unable to use social media?
Unable to use social media.
Okay.
I think.
I think that's what I would do as well.
Yeah,
'Cause I think we live in that world where you need to know, you need to be able to do your research.
You
And
need to be able to access information.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone I know has a very problematic relationship with social media. I think we're all realizing it's not good for us. But yeah.
Okay. Ice chewing or chewing gum?
I'd rather listen to someone chew ice than chew gum, for sure, because gum chewing is disgusting.
And it's more constant, consistent. Keeps
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. At least the ice will melt at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you rather $1 million now or 1 cent that doubles every day for 30 days?
I think I've heard this before, and I think it's the 1 cent because you end up with heaps more money.
Yeah, it's
don't
like
you?
$5.5 million. Or something like
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
Okay. A little bit of Friends stuff here. Phoebe or Monica?
Oh. I used to not rate Monica at all. I thought she was the weakest character on the whole show. But the older I get, the more I realize I am Monica. So I quite like her. I love her organizational.
Take that. Mine would be Monica.
Yeah.
Ross or Chandler?
Chandler.
Yeah, 100%.
Ross is by far the worst character on Friends now.
Okay. This is fucking weird, this one. Would you rather have one finger always as wet as your tongue or consistently have dry tongue?
Always a wet finger. I'd carry a wet finger around if I had to.
It'd just I would too. It'd just be all pruny and just like you just dry and it's just wet again.
It would probably smell a bit funky too, I imagine. Yeah.
Okay.
Just put a little wetsuit on it.
Okay.
Yeah, you go.
Have Dolly Parton's or Billie Eilish's wardrobe?
Billie Eilish for sure.
Okay. I don't know. Just had to throw it out there. Just had to check.
Billie Eilish just wears normal clothes, doesn't she?
Oh, isn't it like, I guess just black jeans. And,
I wouldn't be able to fill out Dolly Parton's clothes. I'd be in a bit of trouble.
And last one. Mm-hmm. Would you rather, this I guess is, you're going to hate me for this. Would you rather you've got to drink them, 2 hot coffees every day or never exercise again?
Oh, I'd have to have 2 hot coffees every day, which would maybe if I had 2 hot coffees every day, I'd start to like coffee like the rest of the world.
Yeah. It was an
Maybe.
acquired taste for me.
Yeah, if I was forced to like it.
It took me to have kids to start to have the mocha and then go from the mocha into just the normal flat white,
Yeah.
then realise I was feeling like shit because of the protein in the milk. So then just now straight black coffee.
Do you have
Delicious.
sugar?
Nah.
You don't? Yeah.
Nah, just as it comes, just long black.
We were just talking about coffee this weekend with my sisters because they were both late adopters to coffee as well. So none of us sort of started drinking coffee in the time frame that a normal adult would. Yeah, but I just haven't started yet.
Oh, it's just so good. My lovely wife, made me a coffee this morning, came downstairs, started work, and was about to go out and make sort of breakfast and coffee, and she brings a nice long black in. Delish.
Yeah, not
So
my
good.
bag. Not my bag.
Anyway, that's would you rather?
Would you rather? Amazing. Anything else that we need to do?
Don't think so. I think we're down to the last thing's hat and coat. So
Check you.
lovely pop. Bit of a catch up again, just from a couple of weeks off the pod. So if you're listening to us for the first time, generally there'd be a little bit more music chat, I would say, that we get into. But yeah, look, this is, as I said, it's a podcast loosely based on music. So thanks for hanging around. If you're listening for the very first time, we do have a back catalogue of episodes we'd love you to go back and listen to if you've got nothing better to do. And hear our banter. Katie and I have been friends for 20 years or so, and we are both musicians, both love the creative space, and get together. It used to be weekly, now it's every couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, just to chat about life in general and have a bit of banter and discuss things that are happening in the music world and things like that. So yeah, thanks for being around for another week. We're on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're also on YouTube if you want to watch. There's a video that goes out every week of the podcast if you'd rather watch a visual of the podcast, or we're on every other streaming platform where you can get podcasts.
Yeah.
Anything from you on that? Anything to add?
No, like, subscribe, follow, do the things. And we will try and keep finding interesting things to say about things that are loosely based on music.
So yes, have a great week, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, ciao.